Hi, thank you for joining us today. This is a quick demonstration of ILG Forms. Now, if you're looking at the ILG Forms platform, then you've probably realised that your business would run better if you had less paper, more accuracy, and better access to information, whether it be in the office or in the field. ILG Forms can help in a few key ways. First of all, you can make data capture in the field a lot more efficient. You can get rid of the paper and move to digital versions of your forms that can be captured on phones, tablets, laptops, and desktop PCs. Secondly, you can mobilize your business processes. You can schedule and dispatch tasks out of your workers in the field, all through the ILG Forms platform. This avoids the pain of trying to manage this on email threads and Excel spreadsheets. You can also build approval processes and other workflows in the platform, allowing forms to be sent between different people for completion along various stages of your processes. Thirdly, you can utilize the fact that ILG Forms is a full-blown business application platform. What this means is that you can develop apps for all kinds of different business purposes, whether it be HR, timesheets, safety, audits, inspections, a whole variety of different functions that your workers are probably performing right now in the field. With ILG Forms, you can put all that stuff together in one place for a single user fee. So not only is it going to be consistent and easier for your users to accept in the field, but it's going to be saving you a ton of money because you'll be paying a single user license, but you can build as many apps or forms you like on your platform. Okay, enough of the sales pitch. Let's have a look at what this thing can do. So when you sign up for a free trial, the first place you're going to start is the dashboard, where you're not going to have any data, you're not going to have any screens, and it's not going to be very interesting at first. So let's get this thing up and running. The best way to do this in terms of getting started quickly is to head over to our examples catalog. You can go look up a form or a specific case you want to try out. In this case, we're going to take a look at the field worker scenario, and this is going to be a full-blown demonstration, so it's going to be a bit more advanced. But I'm just going to show you a few things and areas to kind of show you what it can do. So I'm going to start installing the field workers example into my account, and what's going to happen is going to create a bunch of screens for us. Let's stop for a second and talk about what screens are on ILG Forms. If I head over here and just add a new blank screen, you'll see that I get an option around what type of screen I want to build. And then I can name it, give it an icon, associate some data with it. If you're just starting out on ILG Forms, you're probably here because you want to capture data through your mobile device instead of a piece of paper. So where you want to start with is a data entry form. That type of screen is going to cover all your data capture needs, no matter what kind of information you're trying to collect. We also have some other screen types available. This is where it becomes that business application platform, what I was talking about before. So to briefly go over, I can give you an idea what type of screens are available. You can build a board of icons screen, which is simple navigation screen types, really helpful for organizations with different forms and other apps that you want to build. Instead of giving your users a big list of forms for them to have to find what they need, you can put together an icon board that will group everything together. Example would be for maintenance stuff or HR timesheets. Group them all together for the users, so just a clean experience for when they're using the app. We also provide inquiry screens for our list of data and our map of data source screens. These listing and mapping screens are driven by data sources. When we talk about data sources, we're talking about something that's got rows and columns. So it could be a product list, it could be a list of equipment, it could be a list of customers, site locations, you name it. If you've got something sitting in rows and columns, probably in a spreadsheet, you can load it into our system as a data source. You can link it into various screens. By definition, the kind of apps that you build on ILG Forms are data driven. So you're going to be using data sources a lot. So it's probably an area you want to go check out and start trying out. Maybe upload a couple of spreadsheets you've got lying around, plug them into some of your screens. The list of data is going to give you a row-based display of all the rows in a data source. So if you've got a list of equipment, you can have a nice listing of your equipment. Users can filter on it, they can search it. This is really helpful if you've got a situation where there's lots and lots of rows, maybe 50,000 rows in your data source, which we can handle. You can serve a really good search facility ability to find those quickly in the field. We also have a mapping screen, which is going to show a pin for every row in your data source. So you'll be able to visualize your data on a map. The detail screen is the final piece of the puzzle when it comes to putting together a proper line of business apps. Basically, what you want to do with the detail screen is if you want to show specifics of a particular row from a data source, this is often associated with the listing screen or a mapping screen. The way you put your apps together when you're getting more advanced is you actually chain these different screens together. So a user might click on an icon from a board of icons. He might jump into a listing screen to look at some information and find a particular item that he wants to work on. He might drill it into that item by tapping on the row from the listing screen and looking at the details. And then he might go from that into a form where he's going to edit or update the information from that particular row. But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Let's stay focused on the forms right now. This is meant to be a quick opening demo, so we're trying to stay on track today. Okay, let's have a look at the example we just installed. As you remember, we've installed a field workers sample, and it's given me a whole bunch of screens to look through. I'm going to focus on one of those forms that got installed. It's a service job log. And so the idea with this particular form is that a worker in the field can go perform a job, he can capture the information about the job, and he can then generate a pro forma invoice at the back of that job. When you first go into this after installing it, you'll see that I can't edit anything on this particular screen. Everything is grayed out. The reason for this is because it's currently the published version of the screen. In our system, we want you to be able to rapidly make changes to your screens. You know, add fields, make changes, break it, do all those things, but without disrupting your guys in the field. There's nothing worse than a worker trying to get his job done and getting messed about because you're trying to make some changes on the form he's working on. In ILG Forms, we have a versioning system to solve this problem. Right now I'm on version 1, and this is the published version. Our system considers the published version to be the production or the live version of a particular screen. And it means you can't change it, and you can't break it. I want to make some changes, so I want to have a look at what I can do to this screen. So I'm going to create a new version of the screen by hitting this new version button. I'm now in an editable new version of that screen. I'm on version 2. This is the draft status. Meanwhile, everyone is still working on the production version and they won't be affected by anything I do to this screen. Looking at the designer page that I'm on, there's a few key sections. The first side is the left-hand side, and that's got my field selection option. This has got pretty much every kind of field you're going to need to capture data in the field, starting from simple dates, times, numbers, text choices, drop-downs, all the way through to more advanced capture like GPS, photos, audio, videos, signature, right the way through to even being able to capture values and write values back to NFC tags. In the middle of the screen, I've got a visual preview of what my form is going to look like. On the right-hand side, I've got the list of field properties or options that are available. For the particular field that I have selected, as I click on the different fields in my preview, I'm seeing that the field properties are changing to reflect a particular field that I'm working on. I've also got a page option at the top, and this is because with forms on ILG Forms, you can have as many pages as you like, and it's also a great way to organize and grouping your forms for a better experience for your guides in the field. If I click on any of these particular items, I can see that I've got some common information like data name, which is the unique name of every field. I can give it a title, I can give it coloring, I can change its layout. I can also make fields required. The different fields will have different options. Once you go beyond these common areas, so for example with the date field, I can set it to date only or date and time. If I switch onto a text field, I can specify how many lines I want to be able to capture. You might also notice that we have a little hammer icon against a number of different fields, particularly if I go into the advanced area where I start being able to control the visibility of the field or the value that populated in the field. Whenever you see the little hammer icon, this means you can use a formula. In ILG Forms, a formula allows you to perform a dynamic action of some kind, much like a formula in a spreadsheet. If you click on the little hammer icon, it will pop up the formula builder. This is a really helpful tool when it comes to learning how to create formulas, but also when you want to start putting together a more complicated formula. We have the ability to set any field that we've got inside our form. So for example, if I want to refer to a phone field, you get the answer value from that, and that's how you do it. You can also choose from a list of formula functions that we have available. We have over 100 of these bad boys, and we can help you do all kinds of stuff. You've also got access to all kinds of information, contextual information about the logged in user, for the current date time, all the way through to being able to do math, text, date time, all kinds of functions that you might want to use or combine to get a calculated result. or maybe get a logical result. That's going to give you a true or false answer. We've even gone as far as porting Excel financial functions into our formula engine, and this really helps if you're doing this like premium calculations, and our insurance companies really appreciate this. The formula engine is baked into our platform in lots of different areas, and this allows you to customize ILG forms in a ton of different ways. So once you master formulas in the platform, you're going to be able to do some amazing stuff. So far, we've really just been looking at the secure website side of the ILG Forms platform. The form designer, the other screen designs are all going to allow you to put together a great app and mobilize your business processes. But at the end of the day, the website backend is really aimed at administrator level users who are going to be maintaining, creating all this different content and data for the guys in the field. The workers who are going to be using the app day in, day out are going to be making use of the native mobile app. So let's have a look at that now. When a user first installs the native app from either the Google Play or the Apple App Store, they're going to be confronted with the login screen. Every user that you want to have using the app needs to be registered on the platform with their own separate user account. When they log in, they're going to see whatever you've built for them at first. In this case, we've installed a full example, a full field worker example. We're going to have a whole bunch of screens to look at. If you run the app and you haven't had anything created, there's going to be nothing available and it's going to be a blank screen. Let's have a look at the particular job form that we're working on before. We saw how the design looked in the form designer. Let's see how it looks on the app. So I head into that form and you can see straight away I've got a few things going on. I've got a date field that I can edit and it's just defaulting to the current date, but I can change that. I've got an invoice number which is being generated based on the data, and other count function that I've been using to create a formula. I've got my user details plugged in automatically, and now I can choose a particular customer that I want to work on. So I'm going to work for Russell today, and I can see his address has been populated and his phone number. If I change my mind and decide to work for Aaron, I'm going to see his address and his phone number. So based on my selection, we have this form set up automatically populating other fields, just another powerful feature of our platform. Now that I've chosen who I'm going to be working for, I'm going to head out and actually do the job. Here I'm going to be capturing different service information for each item of service that I've done. So through this, I'm going to be doing an equipment replacement. I'm going to say, replace the cooler on a piece of equipment. I spent 2 hours doing that, and it's calculating the amount automatically based on the hourly rate for the equipment replacement. If I head on through the form, I'm getting a repeating scenario. A repeating page on our platform allows you to capture the same fields over and over again. It's really useful if you're needing to capture line items of any kind, whether it's order items or in this case service line items. So I'm going to add another service detail, and I'm going to choose a different side of things. I'm going to be working overtime. So I'm going to work time and a half. I'm going to say overtime, and I had to work, I'm going to maybe say a couple of hours. Based on what I'm selecting, again, calculation is firing, but also note that the hourly rate is being populated. So if I change my mind and I realise, oh, actually, it was double time I was supposed to be working, what happens is the hourly rate is changed, and obviously so is the amount. Given my hours haven't changed, that's really just the dynamic nature again of the platform in action. I'm going to head on through here as I don't have much more service lines to capture. I'm going to complete this job. What I would do in the field, I might hand my device to the customer and ask them to sign. So they can do this with their finger, or if we have a stylus, they can do it with that too. I'm just going to put the test customer name here for the moment, and at this point I'm done. I finished the job. I'm going to upload this work and move on to the next job. Obviously, I could have made this much more advanced. I could have added photo capture. I could log my photos of the job in progress. I could have also added barcode scanning and other features to the form, but we're going to try and keep this thing simple. The other thing to note is the native app works completely offline. So once I've logged into the app for the first time and downloaded the screens and other data that makes up the app that we put together using the form designer in the back-end website, as a worker I can go out, do my job, whether I have a network connection or not. This is just super powerful because it means that the app is not going to get in the way of the worker trying to do his job. It means there's no frustration because their cell network is down or they don't have data connection at the time. They can still get out and do their job. All those fields will still populate and they'll still have the same customer lists, etc. When they next use the app and the app is able to connect and synchronize, it's going to do that automatically in the background. And the user doesn't have to press any buttons, they don't have to do anything, they just need to use the app like they normally would. And in the background, we're making sure that any data that they've captured and that has been stored on the device waiting for upload will at that point be uploaded and will be synchronized to our system. I've got a connection right now, so I'm going to hit that upload button. I can see it's being scheduled for upload and it's going to happen straight away. I've also got a history of what I've done on the app. So I've got that particular form entry in my history, and I can go through any time and I can review it. Let's have a look now how this is going to come out of the platform. So that data has been uploaded in the field. Back in the office, I can go through and take a look at that in the data entries area. I can see the particular entries that have been captured so far. So let's have a look at that particular form I just filled out. That was the service job log. That form's been uploaded and my data is ready to go, and it's all visible and accessible to me through the web portal. Now, ILG Forms stores anything that goes through it, keeps it secure, so you don't have to worry about it. Any images and signatures, anything that's been uploaded, ILG Forms will keep hold of it and make sure it's safe. The next thing I want to do is export the data. So we can do this manually. We can just do every single import that's come through, or we can do them individually as a CSV or an Excel file. But in this case, we're going to do it as a PDF. With this example, I've actually uploaded what we call a data template. In our system, a data template allows you to create beautiful custom PDF outputs. It's probably one of the top 3 features of ILG Forms. The idea is really simple. You can use standard Word or Excel files as your templates. It works something similar to Word mail match if you've ever done that before. So I'm going to choose my template right now. I'm going to export that, and it will notify me that it's going to be scheduled for download. And that's going to happen pretty quickly in my notifications area. I'll be able to check on the progress and can see it's already been exported. I'll just click on the notification to have a look at it. As you can see, we've got a really nice custom PDF output. Remember, this is being driven by the Excel file that I've uploaded to use as a template. We've got repeatable data being shown as rows. We've got the customer signature image being embedded right there in the PDF. I'm not writing any code. I'm not putting a lot of work to generate this kind of output. Let's take a look at what the template looks like. And here it is. This is an Excel file that we've uploaded. You'll see that we use handlebars or double curly syntax whenever we need to refer to a form entry field. So here my customer answers, my customer name, that's where I want those values to be plugged into my template. The signature's been plugged into a specific area that I've made. I've got a signature fit to be constrained within the area that I've given it. I've also got repeating syntax they use to specify an area that needs to be repeated. I want it to repeat the rows every time I find a piece of repeatable information. This syntax you can read up on our documentation page. We have options to show and hide whole sections of templates. We've got customers doing amazing stuff with this stuff. They are generating 75-page audits and assessments of properties, 5-story buildings, 10-story buildings. That takes days to order it and assess, and then they're dredging a single big PDF report out the back of that. Our system can handle it. We've got customers around the world using it today. So that's a quick overview and a run through of some of the things you can do with the platform. I haven't even got close to mentioning the fact that you can upload and store documentation in our platform. We have a lightweight document management module which we call Docs. This is great if you get standard operating procedures, health and safety documentation, or other items that you want to make available to your workers in the field. And you want it to be accessible, particularly if they're offline. And you want to be sure that you've got the latest copy. It's really hard to push paper out to everyone these days. So why not use our Docs module to do that? It's even got a versioning system built in that allows you to control the latest published version, just like you can do with screens. Data sources, what I mentioned before, the ability to upload and store different data sets in our platform. This allows you to get off spreadsheets and get managing your data dynamically in one place using the ILG Forms platform. If you have external sources you want to connect to, we have connectors that allow you to do that. On the top of connectors, something I didn't really get into is that we have the ability to add connectors onto your forms. Now this is really powerful if you don't want to be manually exporting or managing your data as it's being captured. Instead, on every form you can add a connector, or one or two, as many as you like. We have connectors for simple things like sending an email, all the way through to be able to store a SharePoint list or send a text message through the Twilio service. A great use of the platform is to generate PDF documents through the platform and have that to be uploaded into Dropbox or ABox or Google Drive account. This way you've got an offline repository of all the files that are being created. Having it being able to be just emailed automatically to your client can be the automatically really quick win that you can use straight away. Other things you can do with the platform, and a whole thing we're not really going to go into today, is the ability to dispatch jobs out to workers in the field. Not only can you do it on a job-by-job basis, but you can set up reoccurring tasks, and you can also view a calendar which shows your team members and bookings they already have. It allows you to quickly and easily visualize what's going on with your workers in the field. You can find slots for jobs that need to be scheduled, you can set up recurring tasks, which is also a really good feature that's just come in, that allows you to set up regular jobs that have to be done on a certain interval. For example, if you want to do a maintenance job every 30 days, the system will take care of that. Set up your recurring job and set and forget. Every time that period comes up to be executed, the system will assign it automatically to one of your available people in the field. You've also got all the other functionality you need to manage your organization. Set up your users, you can even set up groupings of your users, so you've got a logical way to view and put together your different teams. Finally, you can customize your app to your heart's content. We have an app setup area that lets you upload your own logo, set the color scheme in the app, and change the configuration of the various settings of the app. This is really helpful because it's going to give you your branding presence within the app. So once your users log in to the ILG Forms app, they're going to see your branding in your color scheme. And it's a great way to have consistency across all your various applications. If you want to go even further with the platform, we have a white labeling option available. These are full white labels, essentially we become invisible. All your users will download and install an app from the App Store that we manage for you. But this is carrying your branding and it's published under your name. This is a super powerful way for you to get your presence into the mobile game as such. So if you've got a brand you would like to work under, that you have all your contractors, subcontractors or clients to be using, talk to us about our white label options. Also, I would really encourage you to make use of our support team. You can contact us through the chat page right at the bottom right of every page on the platform. Finally, just one last thing to note, you see these little help icons? Click on them. We've got detail hinting built into the platform, as there's no faster way to pick up what fields mean and understand how to use it than then click on the little help icons as contextual help right here on the platform ready for you to use. I hope this has been really useful and look forward to seeing what you do with the ILG Forms platform. I think we're going to do a quick Q&A if anyone's got any questions. But otherwise, if you want to contact us, again, please try and contact us through the contact us widget at the bottom of the right, or you can email us at appsupport@ilgbusiness.com.